Salt in His Shoes, one of my favorite, and that is by Michael Jordan, In Pursuit of a Dream. Also by Dolores Jordan, which is Michael Jordan's sister, with Rosalind M. Jordan as well, and also illustrated by Mr. Kadir Nelson, inspiring by Chicago Magazine as well. So Kalia, what's up? You ready?
Yes.
We're going to share reading this story with you today, okay? So go ahead and you start.
Michael loved to play basketball. Every Saturday, he followed his older brothers, Larry and Ronnie, to the park, hoping that they would let him play. And if one of the guys who usually played with him didn't show, they always did. But there was one problem. His name was Mark, and he was the tallest boy on the court.
What's the matter? Mikey's too short. Mark flapping his arms in Michael's face. Over here, shouted Larry. But when Michael threw the ball, Mark's long arms came out of nowhere and knocked the ball away. It flew into the hands of a player on Mark's team. He made the basket, and the game was over just like that.
I'm really sorry, guys. If I were taller, that wouldn't have happened. All the way home, Michael apologized, even though no one was mad at him.
His older brother Ronnie tried to cheer him up. Look, little brother, you played a good game today. Don't worry. We'll win the next time.
Then they got home. Michael went into the kitchen where Mama was cooking dinner. He was still disappointed. And she could tell. You guys lost again today? Huh? Michael nodded. He sat quietly for a minute, then said, Mama, how can I grow taller?
Now, Mama knew the answer to a lot of questions, but this was a tough one. She thought for a moment as she sprinkled salt and pepper on the chicken she was making for dinner. Then she smiled, looked at Michael and said, Salt. Salt? Michael looked at his mama. Salt in your shoes. We'll put salt in your shoes and say a prayer every night. Before you know it, you will be taller, she replied.
Salt in my shoes? Michael said quietly to himself. Surely Mama was teasing. He sat staring out of the window, trying to figure out how salt was going to help him grow.
He noticed the rose bushes outside of Mama's garden. They had grown high along the fence, and roses of all colors were blooming on the vines. He thought to himself, I remember when Mama first planted those bushes. Michael's face lit up. If Mama knows how to make those rose bushes grow taller, then maybe she's right. Maybe salt in my shoes really will help me grow.
Growing more excited, Michael twirled around and started asking lots of questions. Mama, how long will it take? And how tall do you think I'll get? Smiling, Mama sat down next to him and explained, in order for this to work, the most important things you have to do are be patient and listen to what I tell you. And say your prayers every night. Listening carefully, Mike shook his head. Okay, Mama, I'll be patient. But what does saying my prayers have to do with it?
Everything, Mama replied, and she hugged him. Now go wash up and tell your brothers and sisters to get ready for dinner. Michael dashed out of the kitchen, almost knocking over his father, who was walking in. What's up with him now? Asked Daddy. Oh, the usual, laughed Mama, chasing a dream.
Later, during dinner, Mama noticed that Michael was barely eating anything. He was already daydreaming about being taller. Michael, first things first, You won't grow if you don't eat, especially your vegetables, Mama said. But I'm not really hungry, he said. Raising her eyebrows, Mama gave him a stern look. Slowly, Michael picked up his fork and began to eat. Minutes later, plate was clean, and he was asking for more.
That evening at bedtime, Michael set his favorite game shoes on the floor next to the growth chart, hanging on the wall. Then he put on his pajamas, said his prayers, and jumped into bed.
When Mama came in, Michael was fast asleep. By the look of his face, she could tell he was already playing basketball in his dreams.
Standing by his bed, Mama sprinkled salt in his shoes. Then she prayed quietly over him, as she did all her children.
Dear God, please help Michael to be the best he can be and to give his best in all that he does. And Lord, could you please make him just a little bit taller tomorrow than he is today. Thank you. Amen.
After that night, Michael wore his favorite game shoes everywhere he went, even to church, and he stopped going to the park with his brothers on Saturdays. Instead, he stayed home and practiced. He wanted to grow a few more inches before he went back to the park.
After 2 months of practicing and waited patiently and praying, Michael stood next to the growth chart on his wall, nothing. He hadn't grown an inch. He was disappointed, but he did not stop believing. I've just got to give it time. Like Mama said, Michael thought to himself, and that's what he did.
2 more months of practicing went by and still nothing. Now Michael was becoming a little sad. Not only had he not grown 1 inch, but he also missed playing basketball with Larry and Ronnie. After the only thing he did miss was being picked on by Mark. When the next Saturday came, his brothers tried to get Michael to go with them to the park, but he wouldn't budge. Mama had begun to worry when she saw Michael sitting alone on the steps. She said to Daddy, maybe you should go out and talk to him.
So Daddy went out and sat with Michael. What's wrong, son? You haven't gone to the park with your brothers for a while now. Are you okay? Michael didn't say anything at first. Then he looked at Daddy and said, I thought I would at least be a few inches taller by now. I did everything Mama told me to do, but nothing's happened. Michael, why do you want to be taller? Daddy asked. If I were taller, I'd be a great player, and I could help our team win, Michael answered.
But you are a great player, son, and you already have everything it takes to be a winner right in here. Daddy tapped Michael on his chest. Being taller may help you play a little better, but not as much as practice, not as much as determination and giving your best will. Those are the things that make you a real winner. Michael thought about what Daddy said for a minute. Then suddenly he jumped up and took off. Where are you going? Daddy yelled after him. I've got a game today and I'm late, Michael yelled back.
When the whistle blew, the game began again. Mark began to pick on Michael as usual, still trying to play with the big boys, huh? Mark taunted, but Michael paid him no attention. Taller or not, he had been practicing, and today he was determined to win.
Larry threw the ball inbounds to Michael. Michael caught it, bounced her for a moment, and then took off running.
As he approached Mark, Michael shifted to the right. Mark followed, But while he was still shifting, Michael spun and to his left. He stepped behind Mark and shot the ball, anchored for above his opponent's hands, fell silently through the hoop. 2 points. The game was over. Marco's team won.
It was just as Michael had dreamed. When he realized he had done, Michael took off running and didn't stop until he reached home.
Bursting through the door, he shouted, "I did it, Daddy! I did it. I shot right over the tall guy's head, and we won the game." Running in behind him, Ronnie and Larry joined the celebration. "That's right, little brother. You did it. You won the game for us."
Michael remembered the look that Ronnie gave him during the last time out of the game and said, "No, we won the game, but I was the star." They all laughed. After that day, Mama stopped putting salt in Michael's shoes, but Michael did not stop being patient and working hard and saying his prayers.
So that must be what made Michael grow to be a 6'6" tall basketball superstar.
And that's the end. Once again, the story is entitled Salt in His Shoes by Michael Jordan, In Pursuit of a Dream, also by Dolores Jordan with Rosalind M. Jordan, illustrated by Kadir Nelson, inspiring from the Chicago magazine. Dolores Jordan is Michael Jordan's mother, widely recognized as an advocate for children and families. She does much of her work through the James Jordan Foundation, which has adopted a school in the West Side community of Chicago, Illinois, and through the Jordan Institute for Family at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. She supports the James R. Jordan Boys and Girls Club and Family Life Center, also located on the west side of Chicago. In addition, the presently serves on the Demand Reduction Advisory Committee for the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency. Mrs. Jordan is an internationally renowned speaker and the author of Family First, a book highlighting 7 principles of parenting, the mother of 5 children and grandmother of 11. She resides in Chicago, Illinois. And that's the end of Salt in His Shoes. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Parent Tips.
I play for my mom and dad.
See, you have to
Never missed a
read, you have to
game.
feel
I play
ensure
for the
of
smell of my
yourself
leather glove,
when you
the
read
sound
the
of
book.
infield chatter,
You almost have to
and
make
that
yourself
incredible
be
feel
good.
of the ball jumping off my bat.
That's how you feel?
I play for Sacrifice
Great
Bucks and
in my
Sacrifice
body.
Flies because they've taught me what it means to be a teammate.
So what was there was
Whether
2
they're playing
words
with
in
their
here.
teammates, their classmates,
What?
or their community.
Anchor?
High school student athletes in Iowa learn important lessons they'll use for the rest of their lives. Like
Determined.
respect for the
Determined.
rules, time management skills, and
Most
the
important
value
thing you
of
have to do
hard
is be
work
patient
and
and listen to what I
sacrifice.
tell you.
I play high school softball for my
There's
friends.
something
Decorate my
else.
locker before every big game. That's who
But
I
you said
play for.
determined, that's good.
Play for keeps. Play for fun. Play on.
This message presented by the Iowa High School Athletic Association and the Iowa High School Athletic Directors Association.
And we're back to Parents Love Your Children. I'm your host, Toro Sudeth, my co-host, Dr. Charlotta Sudeth, and we have our reader with us again today, Miss Kalia Sudeth. And we just got done reading what book, Kalia?
Salt in His Shoes.
All right, by Dolores Jordan and Rosalind M. Jordan. We made a mistake. Dolores Jordan is his mother.
Yeah.
Rosalind Jordan is his sister. And Kalia, while we were on break, I said, what was the word I was looking for in this book of Salt in His Shoes? What was the word that you just shared with me?
Determined.
Determined. So in anything that you do, there was determination for Michael Jordan. And of course, Salt in His Shoes really did not work. But just being determined to do something that made him excel of being this great basketball player. What did you say? How tall was he?
6'6" tall.
Wow, to be a basketball player. And that was just, we enjoyed that book. It looked like you put just a lot of, just a lot into this book. Praise for Salt in His Shoes is also a picture book winner. A slam dunk effort, that was from the Boston Herald, and an inspiring piece, that was from Chicago Magazine, and Salt Satisfying by Kirkus Reviews, The Power of Myth in the Making, Miami Herald, and those just a few that has just given pat on the back about this story of Salt in His Shoes that we both enjoyed. And also in Salt in His Shoes, what else is in this book that you can...
Free growth chart inside.
That's right. So if you want to grow a little taller, you can just put this growth chart on your wall, and hopefully you can grow some more interest to play basketball. Mm-hmm. So that's dedicated to all the basketball fans out there. Now to our parent tips, which I sometimes come back to this book, and this book really, I really do enjoy it because it's actually a family who we watched on. Mm-hmm. What was it, MTV?
Yeah, I think so.
It was entitled Ron's House.
Yes.
And entitled Ron's House, that we always like to watch. And I don't know if this show is still going on or not, but we do see them from time to time with the new cooking show that they have going on.
Yes.
And with this book, Reverend Ron and Justine Simmons, Take Back Your Family. It was a challenge to American parents to a book that he created entitled To Take Back Your Family. Take Back Your Family, Reverend Ron and Justine celebrate the role of parents and share their secrets to raising a respectful, loving, and successful family. Reverend Ron and Justine know that raising a family is hard work, but they also believe that nothing can bring more fun and fulfillment to your life, emphasizing firm boundaries and noble values and discipline, realistic expectations, and faith. Reverend Ron and Justine share this proven principle that have helped build their home as they build it together. For anyone seeking guidance for raising a new generation, Take Back Your Family reveals the behind the scenes of wisdom of hip-hop family first, offering a challenge to American parents and solutions to the many 21st century parenting dilemmas. And so I'm just going to start with a few tips that they share with us. In chapter 2 is entitled Putting Family First. Despite the love that we all share for our family, parenting can often seem a little very unglamorous pursuit. When you are changing the diapers and picking up after a messy teenager or stressing over how to pay your child's tuition, it's very easy to daydream about a more glamorous lifestyle. Maybe you see yourself as a celebrity with nanny to change the diapers and a maid to pick up the clothes and pockets deep enough to cover any kind of bill. But while the celebrity lifestyle certainly comes with its perks, never become too envious of it, because even if you don't have a fancy house or have a maid or you see your name in the news, as long as you're doing your best for your family every day, you are already a celebrity. Wasn't that awesome right there?
Yes.
I like that. Being, as long as you're doing your best for your family every day, you are already a celebrity. I've learned that real celebrities aren't necessarily the people who sell the most albums or drive the fanciest cars, but instead are the people who do their best for their families day in and day out. Those are the people who should be celebrating, and that's the lifestyle I want to encourage you to keep going. Now, please don't get it twisted. I'm fully aware that the main reason that Ron shares that he was blessed with a TV show like Ron's House, or even blessed with the opportunities to write the book, is that I've already achieved a degree of traditional celebrity. But one of my hopes for the show and this book is that they can help change the kind of lifestyle and priorities that society thinks are worth celebrating. And he also shares that I have become famous. Of course, he became famous with the Run DMC, but I hope that when all is said and done, I would truly be celebrated for what was the part I played in helping my family cool with the hip-hop generation. Is like that of Huey Lewis' song, I'm trying to make it hip to be square again. So if you're going to emulate Ron's House in your own life, please don't focus on our professional or material success. Instead, to try to eliminate the fact that Justine and I wake up every day thinking about not only what we can do to help nurture our family, but how to have fun doing it too. And while it's easy to believe that toys or the swimming pool or the vacations are what makes our family fun, please believe that that's not really the case. I've been around enough celebrities to know that all the pools and vacations in the world won't make you happy without a real commitment to doing the best for your family. So you might enjoy Ron's house because of the fancy cars and the pools or the indoor basketball court, but none of those things really mean a thing. I'm here to say that the reason Ron House is standing strong is because it was built on the foundation of family. And I just wanted to add that when we liked Ron House, it was just the fact I was only simply watching it because it was a family situations that was really happening, things that, that we were dealing with, they were dealing with as well, and that was intrigued me about the family to keep watching it and to buy his book. I should also note that when I first talking about this section with my publisher, they wanted me to add something about here, the African American family in crisis. And while I can't deny that there are too many African American families struggling out there, I don't like to think of our family as an exception to the rule. I really believe that there are a lot of people out there living with the same values and dreams that we do on Ron's House. It just doesn't feel that way because we haven't seen that image enough on television or in the media. Sure, we hear plenty about the families that truly are in crisis, but you don't hear nearly as much about the families where everyone is living and praying under the same roof, having fun, striving to make a living, but we're out there, a lot of us are out there. I like this. But you don't hear nearly as much about families where everyone is living and praying under the same roof, having fun, striving to make a living. The key now is for those families to stand up and provide an inspiration for the people who aren't doing as well. Just as I'm trying to share a greater image on MTV, we need more people to promote a greater image in the community or on the block or even just their building. We need to help change the basic image of black families so that the people who are struggling will have a constant reminder of what they can achieve, so that instead of worrying about what they are trying to get out of, they can be inspired by what they are moving toward. Oh, that was good. So you might want to be like Brad Pitt, but Brad Pitt wants to be like you. As a parent, the first step toward embracing your own celebrity is to stop thinking that other people have something that you need in order to be happy. Wow. And I just want to, I have read this book before, but going back reading it over again, I just was prompt to share some of these tips with you as well. But just going back reading this again just really does something. So as a parent, the first step toward embracing your own celebrity is to stop thinking that other people have something that you need in order to be happy. Because the truth is that as long as you have a strong family life, then you most likely have what they're looking for. So as long as we have that strong bond, everyone is looking for that strong family bond. Wow. I've known this truth in my heart for a long time, but it was really reinforced recently when I heard that Brad Pitt was a huge fan of Reverend Ron's House. It was a bit of surprise at first because I never pegged Brad Pitt as the kind of guy who would be that into a wholesome family show. He's talented, he's rich, and he's considered to be the best looking man in the world. If there's one guy you think would want to ride the party train till the wheels come off, it would be Brad Pitt, right? But when Esquire magazine asked him for a list of some of his favorite things in life, Ron's House was on that list. In fact, he even called me a patriotic that he could really get behind. Now, we can't say what exactly it was about my life that inspired Brad Pitt, but it's safe to say that it wasn't the Bentley or the house or the famous friends. Remember, Brad Pitt has all those things times 10, if I could guess. I like to believe that Brad Pitt was inspired by the sight of someone committed to doing the best he could for his family by putting the show on his list. I felt he was saying, my name is Brad Pitt, and I'm telling you, this Reverend Ron dude is cool. He's tapping into something that feels better than the cover of People magazine. His life looks like fun. His relationship with his wife and his kids feels balanced. It feels good. I can respect that. Maybe I want to be more that like him in my own life. So nothing is as fresh as seeing a family. Some of you are probably thinking, whatever Ron give me, the limo rides and the parties, I'll be just fine. No matter what you say, that lifestyle sounds flyer than changing some kid's diaper. Well, I hear you. Please understand that I've been to the parties. I have ridden in the limos and sold out Madison Square Gardens. I'm not speculating on that kind of lifestyle. I'm experienced all of that and more. And I'm still here to tell you that not one of those things feel as good as taking a slow walk in the park with my son. None of them made me feel like I used to feel when me and Angela would snuggle up on Saturday mornings and watch the Smurfs together. Riding in the limos never felt as good as sitting on my couch with my son, got home from a basketball tryout, and having him run over and say, "Dad, I made the team." All those things didn't make him feel good until he got home and sat on the couch with his family. So being with family is his number one thing. So focus on family can take time. I feel like I've always been a family man at heart. I was always competitive as they come at the rocking mic, but I would also rush home after every show. I was trying to conquer the world, but only so I could share the spoils with my family. In fact, my desire to stay close to my family occasionally created ripples within Run DMC. Especially one time when I decided I didn't want to extend a tour because it had kept me away from my family too long. So that's how a lot of friction started with Run DMC when he's decided to spend more time with his family. So sometimes we have to telling us that we have to spend more time with our family no matter what we do. And whatever we get to, family comes first. So take back your family. And that is my parent tip. And I want to keep on going with this, putting family first when we come back. But putting family first, and also let's go back, take back your family and spend more time doing family things. Remember when we have family day, family time, and family day is when Clea in our home. Right. Friday, where do we go on what do you do on Fridays?
Go out to eat.
Yeah, we go out and have pizza together. So we just want to make sure that and what else?
Or go to the movies.
Go to the movies. Okay, I was waiting for you to give those out. I didn't want to say them all. I wanted you to say them. So also, that's our closing. We share with you Salt in the Shoes by Dolores Jordan and Rosalind M. Jordan. And we also are reading some parent tips from Take Back Your Family, Reverend Ron, a challenge to American parents to take back your family. Parents, love your children. And remember that reading unlocks the doors to our future. And we'll see you the same time right here next week.
Bye.
Seems like that went by quick. Why are you writing on yourself?
Guess what?